Be careful.
He's and Scott Higgins, both of them coked up out of their minds.
Listen to you. He's down in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
I think we should call this the Acement.
The Acement, yes.
Yeah, what do you think there, huh?
I like that. The Acement Studios.
Oh.
Excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Hold on a second.
We usually drink bourbon on our end
Yeah,
when we
right.
do the podcast, so
That's all right.
feel free to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You shoot an 8-ball if you want. We don't care, as long as it's good stories.
Welcome to the Acement. It's time to go behind the funny. This is Scott Higgins,
And this is Acecito.
who's choking on some paint thinner right now.
Jesus, yeah. Let's talk about our bourbon date. I smelled it and almost fell over.
Yeah, it's a strong one. But it was a gift from a
was it?
friend. Sean Noel. I used to work with him and just did a Funny for Fun show for his daughter.
Dog.
I
His
shouldn't.
dog
I
and
shouldn't
his
drink.
daughter.
I shouldn't drink before the show.
No shit.
His daughter, Megan Noel's Memorial Fund.
all right.
They have done amazing things with this fund. They have 2 colleges now that have endowed funds for scholarships in her memory.
Yep.
They're now. They raised money to buy books for kids at this school that she used to go
that's
to.
awesome.
They're doing phenomenal things, and they're just a great family. Her 2 brothers, mom, dad, all there. We had a great show. It was Mike McCarthy, myself, Tyler Hittner.
Oh, what's up, kid?
And it was days before his accident, and Mike McCarthy,
Oh,
we're
my
so
God.
happy that you're okay, that you survived the
I
accident.
rolled my fucking car a couple of hundred times, and I'm alive.
I get out and look at the car and say, "What's up with you, kid?"
What's up, kid? I could go for a steak right now.
But I'm setting up the stage, and Sean comes over to me, and he's a faithful listener of the podcast,
Thank you, Sean.
and he says, "Hey,
You and 3 other people.
but if all 3 of them give us gifts like this,
We're good for a couple of weeks anyway.
Yeah, that'll get us by. But he said, hey, I don't know if you guys have tried this before, but this is a gift for you and Ace. It's Journeyman Distillery's Featherbone Bourbon Whiskey, distilled and bottled in 3 Oaks, Missouri. A handmade organic whiskey. It's actually handwritten on the label.
I noticed that.
The proof and also
57-point-something% alcohol.
the batch, the bottle number, everything like that. So it's pretty interesting. I went to the website and checked them out. So it's something we haven't had before. Yeah, 114.8 proof.
Yeah,
so I will be sleeping at Acecito's house tonight.
as Mr. Furley would say,
Smooth.
you ruined my line, you fuck. Anyway, we are very excited because I could have sworn we had this guy on as a guest before.
We were
You
arguing
said
about
no.
that last week.
And
We
you know
have
what it
not.
is? I think it's because I was on his podcast.
Oh, okay.
I think he did a healthcare related podcast. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. We'll find out. But
they're all starting to blend after 300 episodes.
I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. Sean's actually Sean Noel. Enjoy, boys. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you,
Clinkies
Sean.
to you, buddy. Thank you so much. It is delicious. It's strong, but it's delicious.
As it chills, it gets better.
Yes.
And the second and third glass will taste better than the first.
Yeah. You ain't sleeping here. Tries to spoon me all the time. Anyway, no, this next guy is, he's one of those guys who I've worked with maybe a handful of times. He actually booked me for a show out in Western Connecticut with our good friend, Dr. Jay Sute.
Oh, yeah.
Rest in peace, Dr. J. We love, we talk about him all the time. You guys know.
I love when we get to talk about it.
I know, but I think that's probably the last time I saw him. But he is he's a hilarious comedian, has a professional day job. We'll get into and we'll talk about in healthcare.
Yeah, and we'll talk about all his posts of the fancy places he's visiting and the fancy dinners he's having all the time. He's Mr. World Traveler,
Yeah,
too.
oh yeah, he is. He definitely is. But reason why we got him on, we wanted him on anyway, especially because evidently we haven't had him on, but I thought we did. I swear, I've got a whole
you're
episode
losing
in my
track,
head.
buddy.
I've got a whole episode in my head what we talked about.
I don't remember a goddamn thing.
Okay, doke. But no, you know, he's a good friend of the show. Well, good friend of ours. Now he'll be a good friend of the show.
Right.
But he announced his retirement. And this seems to be the podcast to come on to announce your retirement and talk about it.
I don't like
We
that.
had Eddie Clark on.
I don't like
now
that.
we got this guy. And I love his name because I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. Not him.
What?
Calm down.
What?
Not him. I was thinking about the name. And
Guys, thanks
it
for
just
tuning in. I'm
reminded
going to
me-
take off.
Yeah. No, it just reminded me it would be a great boxer name. And so I'm going to announce him like a boxer.
Okay, I could see that. Also, his first name would make a great Italian restaurant name.
Yeah. Well, there's already an Italian restaurant that's very similar to his first name. But without further ado, we would like to welcome to
Ladies
the
and
Behind
gentlemen.
the Funny Podcast, Dario Mercadante.
That's wow. I'm verklempt.
I got a lot of hot air.
Dude, you had to, but you just missed one little thing. They always have like that nickname, like Iron
Dario.
Mike Tyson, Dario the Kid Mercadante. You know,
Dario Cheesehead
you
Mercadante.
needed that little nickname thing.
Oh,
Some Johnny Walker,
just-
baby.
Just so you.
There we go, my friend. Cheers,
Twinkies,
Dario.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Thank you for coming on.
thanks so much for coming on.
And definitely a connoisseur. Did you notice the big cube?
Yes,
Oh,
one
yeah.
big cube. That's the
Oh
way we like
yeah,
it.
he
If
is.
you're drinking blue and you don't have a big cube.
Oh, you got the blue. I didn't even notice that was the blue.
It looked like the
Nice.
black label.
Oh no.
I can't tell.
I was actually surprised. Oh no, it says blue label right
oh,
there.
yeah.
Look at that. All right.
I made it in the sink myself.
Oh, you know, think about that black label is gay.
Anyway,
He made that in the toilet. It's some, jailhouse hooch.
yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
was.
Jailhouse.
Some
hooch.
jailhouse hooch.
So how you
Listen.
been, man?
I have to tell you this because I think you'll find it amusing what my middle name is.
What is it?
It's Mario.
Dario Mario Mercadante.
Your parents didn't have much imagination, did they?
They were drinking.
Thank God his last name wasn't Hilario.
Dario Mario Hilario.
We have a newscaster out here in Rhode Island named Mario Hilario. So you guys would be perfect together. That would be hilarious.
It's actually Dario Mario Rocco Mercadante.
Oh my God! They went with their. They couldn't decide on which Italian name they were going to go with, so they said, "Let's throw them all in." And his nickname is Tony.
covered all bases.
Everyone calls him Rip.
Yeah, right.
I was named after Saint Rocco. Actually.
Was it?
There's a
Really?
Saint Rocco.
Oh yeah, we know. We got
He
a
was in
St.
charge of
Rocco's.
all the collections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
patron saint of Brooklyn.
Yeah, patron saint of the
Patron saint of Brooklyn.
patron saint of the
collections.
basket, the collection basket.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. So thanks for coming on, man. And honestly, we never had you on.
No, not even the healthcare thing.
I must have remembered doing your podcast.
I didn't, I'm a healthy
No,
guy, but
the healthcare podcast was. I know who you're thinking of. The nurse who's the comedian. I'm going blank right now. He was friends with Jay Sute as well. Angel Rentas.
Oh, what the fuck?
You're
is
mixing
wrong
up
with
your
me?
bald guys.
Listen.
You're mixing up your bald guys.
Do you know how many times I mixed up Rafi Gonzalez and Philip Anthony? Same thing. I don't know why.
He's got a thing with guys that shave their head,
bald guys.
Dario.
I just can't tell you apart. So you're not a physician assistant
No.
or a nurse practitioner. Then it is. No wonder I'm fucked
It was
up.
Angel
It was Angel Rentes.
Rentas.
I went.
All right. So what do you do during the
real
day?
estate appraisal service.
You what?
I
Oh,
own
your appraisal.
commercial residential.
Commercial and residential.
We've
that's
praised
just
more-
like Vandalay Industries.
Exactly.
Imports and exports.
More exporting than importing.
Yeah.
We've appraised more ground than Columbus found. That's our motto.
Is that on your business card?
I saw it on a barn door once. back in the day. I think I'll take that.
I
was a
screw people.
landscaper.
I screw people up all the time. I don't know why I do it. I don't know.
You're
how.
good at it.
Evidently.
You're good at it.
That's what messed me up. So it's funny because when I went to Google to put your bio up, I'm like, how come I can't find it? I can't find Dario Mercadante, physician assistant, nurse practitioner.
Well,
'Cause
now
it's
you know
Angel.
why.
Well, now I
Because
know.
it's not him.
No,
Yeah,
no. But I have worked with both of you, and not enough, and that's probably why I mix everyone up. And now I won't get a chance to because
it's
over.
I'm giving up all my rooms are done. I'm done. It's done.
So let's talk. All right, let's go back. Let's not Tarantino this shit, as Scott likes to say. Let's go back. How long have you been doing comedy? When did you start?
My very quick story. My first debut, when I really started doing it, was back in 2002.
Okay.
That's
Same
when
year.
I decided
That's when I
to-
started. That's when I started.
But I actually go back further than that because my cousin Vinny, no pun intended, owned a place called Jazzberries. And this is back in the 80s now.
Really?
And he used to do comedy on Thursday nights there. So I would MC those shows. And that was back in the 80s. I just didn't really even have a clue what I was doing. I just would say a few hack jokes and call up a comedian.
Let me ask you, when you were doing that, Dario, were you considering yourself a comedian doing stand-up, or you just were hosting the show for your cousin?
More a host.
Yeah, okay,
just
okay.
hosting.
When was that first time on stage where you said, okay, I'm going up to be a comedian?
2002
That's when you really,
That's when I'm going up.
Okay.
And the long and the short of that story was, it was at the Boston Comedy Connection.
Yep, Faneuil Hall.
There was about 15 comedians on that particular show.
Yep.
Was it was it Noxie's open mic on Monday night?
I don't.
Yeah, that's okay. Because 2002 is when I did it, and that's the night that they gave me, because it was my first time, was Monday night, and Kevin Knox hosted it. And he was the open mic for the new guys host. So I was just curious if you did the same.
I don't recall actually who the host was.
Okay.
The one thing that actually stuck out in that show for me was there was about 15 comedians. I think I was number 14, and I was kind of looking at it with arrogance and I'm going to go and destroy everything, and I'm going to be. You haven't seen anything like me, the same old, that every new comedian gets, and wait till they get a hold of me. And everybody really did well. And I was, I guess, like I said, in that late mid-range, and I remember him calling my name, the announcer calling my name, and I was way back, and I ran up on the stage. I ran up there. This is true story. And I tripped. And I fell forward and I knocked the microphone stand and the chair off the whole stage. And the whole audience blew up laughing. And that was the only laugh I got for 10 minutes. That was it.
That was it.
Not even a cough.
Yeah.
That was a dangerous stage because it was at least 3 inches off the floor.
Yeah.
It
was tall.
4 foot nothing. I mean, you're tripping on everything. Manhole covers are.
Well, see, now you should have turned it around and said, "So yeah, I'm kind of good at slapstick. That's my forte."
Yeah. So the end of the show, I was walking out with my head down and saying, "Maybe this isn't for me."
Yeah.
And I remember the kid, I don't know who ran it. I heard later on that he got chased out of there by some bookies.
Oh, Joey.
Yeah, no,
That might be it.
Yeah,
Joey Sandgate.
Joey Sandgate.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was booking all the shows at the time, and he got chased out by over not paying for his coke.
Well, okay then. See, so I'm not far off from.
No, you're not.
No,
Not
you're
at
dead
all.
on.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah,
it wasn't really tough to figure out.
Oh,
It wasn't a small secret. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, everyone
All right.
knew.
So he come up to me and he says, you did great. I want you to come back. And I went,
Did you see the same show I did? Yeah, right.
Yeah, were you here or were you in the kitchen?
But
I
but
didn't make anybody laugh.
But you know what, Dario? One thing everybody told me about Joey, your first time there, all he cared about was, did you stay under your time?
Did you stay on time? That's all he
I
cared
did.
about.
That's all he cared about. Is if you had 10 minutes, if you do 9 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll get invited back. If you do 10 minutes and 10 seconds, you're not getting invited back.
Yeah.
Everyone told me that because I was lucky enough to have a few friends that were comics. That worked for him, and they said, your first time, just stay, whatever he gives you for time, do 10 to 20 seconds less than that, and you'll get back on. And they were completely right.
Yeah.
You know what else helps a lot? Really, though?
Yeah.
I brought 50 people.
Oh, yeah.
And that-
yeah.
That helped a lot,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I learned, as you in this business as long as I have, and I say it that in tongue in cheek because I never ever reached the level that you two gentlemen are at, what you do, and how good both of you are. I've never.
Did he just have a stroke? Is he talking to someone else?
No, I'm not talking. I know who I'm talking.
Is there a portal
Thanks,
behind
buddy.
this side?
There's no portal, but I've never.
No, that's
No,
a
thank
very high compliment, Dario.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. But in being, if I put my Booker hat on,
Yeah.
a guy who draws a heavy amount of people is a great guy to have in your show.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So he, my after me thinking when he said, you've got great stage presence and you definitely got it. And I think there was probably some truth to that.
Yeah.
But I also think that looking back on that 21 years ago, I can look at that in a standpoint and go, yeah, and I also brought 50 people.
Yeah,
Right,
Of course.
right.
That's like when around that same time, I don't know if you ever worked for Annette Pollock.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, she used to book shows in the Braintree, South Shore, Mass area, and I got in with her, and I would host the shows for her. And her shows, she would have like 6 or 7 open mic level comics, but she always had a huge headliner. She would have Tony V. She would have Paul D'Angelo. She would have somebody like that close the show, and she was a pain in the ass to work for. God rest her soul. I mean, she recently passed away, and you know what? She made me better because she gave me a ton of work early on when it really helped me develop. So I mean, I do owe her that. But she would give you a list of announcements you'd have to make and when you had to make them, and it was a pain in the ass. But again, it helped me develop. And I was like, why does she book all these open mic type people on these shows? She's charging $20 a head for people to sit and watch. They're getting a great headliner, but then I realized why. She made each one of those
filled the
people
room.
bring at least 10 people,
Right.
and she filled every single show.
Right.
Good marketing.
Well, listen.
Every single show, exactly.
let's
She
face
had
it.
full rooms every time we had a show.
Let's face it. That's what John Parada does. That's why John shows us.
But
so
John doesn't
successful.
force them to do it.
No, he doesn't force it.
He
No.
offers them a bonus to bring people.
Right. He incentivizes them to bring people.
But if they don't, they still get up.
Right.
She literally wouldn't let them get up if they
Yeah,
didn't bring the
that's
10
true, too.
people. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Where like you said, now that I've been doing this for a while, and I've booked some shows of my own, I put that hat on, I see why those guys did that. You're completely right on that.
Makes sense. And look at, in the end, you want the venue owner to be happy, so he continues the show. So,
exactly.
And that's how many drinks and how much food. And my cousin, I did a lot of shows for my cousin Vinny Santinello. Did a ton of shows for him, different venues. He's always and still does own a few bars here and there. He's always been in that business, and he loved everything we did. But it's still about the bottom line. And
Of course.
if we were able
Right.
to turn out 100 people for him on a Sunday night at his bar,
Yeah. That's a good night.
which we did on a regular basis when I was running the Bentley Bistro night. That we ran that 5-6 years. That we'd
Really?
sell out every Sunday night.
That's the one that
Yeah.
I did for you. You had me at the Bentley Bistro one time. That was a fun room. That was
I had you at
fun.
Bentley.
Yep.
Yeah. And I had you at the country club. He had a country club.
Yes. They were
my
both
kid.
really fun shows.
Now, where are these in Western Connecticut, Western Mass?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
Massachusetts.
Is that where you're based? Is Mass?
Yeah. I mean, I live in Ludlow, Mass.
Oh
My
yeah, I know
family's-
Ludlow. Yeah.
My family's from the Springfield area.
Is that where you grew up, Dario?
Yeah, in the Springfield area, Agawam to be exact.
Yep.
Now, do you have brothers and sisters?
I do. I have two brothers. I'm not going to bring the show down. I lost my sister to COVID.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
man.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, where are you in the lineup of siblings?
I'm the youngest.
Our streak continues.
I'm the youngest.
Yep.
No, we've been doing this kind of sociological study over the past 7 years, and we literally, I think we just broke 10 people that were the oldest sibling that became the comedian. It's always the middle or the youngest.
Because we were screaming for attention.
Yeah, it's literally always, I think we've hit 12 people total that were the oldest, and we're not counting only children. If they were the only child. We're talking where there was 2 or more and the oldest became a comedian. It was only like 12 times.
Yeah. It's attention, exactly.
Yeah, you had to. It was survival. Yeah. That was the only way to get attention. You had to make a clown. You either had to cause trouble or make people laugh or both.
I say this, and I don't want you guys to take this the wrong way, because I have the utmost respect for the craft. I mean, the utmost respect. I owe Marty Caproni a lot for that. He taught me a lot about what the craft is really about, and kind of corrected my way back maybe 7-8 years ago. I was doing things I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah.
And he kind of had a good sit down with me, and I will always appreciate that, and I consider him a very, very close friend to this day, of course.
Yeah,
Marty is very, very insightful guy for someone. I mean, he's been doing it a while. Don't get me wrong, but someone who hasn't been doing it like, let's say, 20 years, he's very insightful, and he knows how to break stuff down.
That's because of how hard he's worked at it.
Right.
In dog years, he's about 20.
Yeah.
I mean, he's. But listen, I did it, and I'll be completely upfront. I really did it to pick up women. That was my main goal.
Yep.
You're not the first.
And I'm not the first, and I probably won't be the last.
Nope.
But I think that as I got older, and of course I met my wife and everything, you really become cognizant of what it really is about, how hard people work at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the reasons that led to my retirement, one of the things is I know what you need to do to even be remotely successful. Let's forget about success. Let's be remotely successful requires a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
At that juncture in my life where I'm thank God I've been blessed with a good living and money, and I can't say about that. So I just came to that realization that if I can't give it 100%, and if it comes down to, would I rather be at Grill 23 having a steak with wife and friends, or being up on the biggest comedy stage in Boston? If you asked me that right now, I would answer I'd rather be with my wife and good friends, Johnny Blue.
Yeah,
and you're being honest with yourself at that point, and there's nothing wrong with that,
right?
Yeah,
you did a lot in comedy, and you've worked with a lot of great people, and you did a lot of great things. We talk about it all the time. There are people that say, "I wish I would have tried it." There are people that I wish I would have done it. You went out and did it, so you can say, "Hey, I wanted to, and I did." So that's a good thing,
Look, I mean, I appeared at comics many times. I appeared at comics at Foxwood many times.
Right.
Comedy Connection. I got callbacks to appear again. In other words, it wasn't a one-off.
It wasn't a
one-off. I got callbacks to do it. So I did Nick's Comedy Stop for a weekend. When Marty opened there, I was able to open for him there. So if you ask me, have you accomplished a lot of what you wanted to do as far as getting in front of live audiences and big audiences?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been in front as much as 500 people.
Yeah.
So that to me, that part of it, I can put my head on the pillow and say, you know what? I accomplished a lot of that. There's still comedians that have been in it a while that haven't done what I've done.
Right.
And I'm not even, again, I don't give it the all that you really need to do to be super successful or to be successful.
You know, Dario, what helped me was when I got to the point where I was always like, oh, I wish I could, be doing what that guy does, or I wish I could be at the point where that comedian is, or I wish I could do this. Mm-hmm. But then I finally realized there are people that wish they could be where I'm at.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And as soon as I really kind of soaked that in and understood that, I was like, man, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Because I always
You
wanted
start
to
to
do it.
appreciate what you have.
Right. I always wanted to do it. I went and did it, and I still get to do it. So, hey, you know what? I'm happy. I'm fine with where I'm at.
I've said it to people before. Like, listen, when I see Bill Burr selling out Red Rock and selling out Madison Square Garden,
you'd love to do that, but
I'd love to do that. But you know what? I still get to do the same job. I still get to make people laugh, which is the whole reason why I got into this.
Yeah.
I didn't get into it become famous. I got into it to get in front of a group of people, whether it's in a VFW hall, a comedy club, a function room at a restaurant, doesn't matter. I just want to get in front of people and make them laugh. And I still get to do that. You know?
And that's the enjoyment of it too. Is everything you're saying. I think though, when you skate both sides of the fence like I did, if I had to give any recommendation to anybody doing comedy or whatever, I would have to say you really have to pick a side. To try to do both is very, very tough. I get that there's the money part of it, but if you're really, really seriously considering being great, I think you can only, and I'm sure I'm probably saying something that a lot of comedians would say, but it's just my humble, and I mean humble opinion, that I think you got it. I think I don't know. I mean, I enjoyed booking, because when you do book, you get that feeling like everybody loves you. The comedians love you because of course you book. Yeah, you're such a great guy. Yeah, get away from me.
Except for the ones you don't book.
And
they're like, that asshole.
You can't win with that. I mean, you
can't.
You think about somebody, you want to get them, and you just and there's so many coming at you with it. It's so much.
And the other thing is, you probably understand this more than anyone because we've talked about it. When you're booking, I learned so much from the shitty shows that I was booked on, where they booked me and Jim Lauletta. We both do impressions. Or they book Rockin' Joe and DJ Hazard. Both guys do guitar. Like, I learned so much on how to book by watching how badly shows were booked. So when someone says, oh, how come you don't put me on your show? I don't have a spot for your style of humor, because I am literally looking at, all right, I got this person. Who's going to compliment them like if I'm booking a show where they're headlining, who's going to compliment, like Stephanie Peters? If I'm booking Stephanie Peters to headline, I can't put certain people on that show. I want people who are going to compliment Stephanie's style.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think because there were a lot of bookers when we started that didn't put any thought, it was just, who the fuck is available and who likes to hang out and party with me after. That's who went on the show. And there were a lot of shitty shows as a result.
Yeah. I use Marty as a big guidance for that. And he knows flow better than anybody I've ever met. And sometimes I would say, I have this, and this. He goes, that two aren't going to match up. He said, do this one. And then I do that one, and everybody would come out. So he was brilliant, and still is brilliant at that. He can see how flow goes. I learned through osmosis with him. But you're right. A flow of a show, if I'm putting my booker hat on, a flow of a show is huge. Absolutely huge. Tone and pace. It's all those things.
And all of us book shows, so we know how important that is. Let me ask you this though. Booking shows is a pain in the ass.
Well,
so So what made you say, you know what, I'm having so much fun making people laugh and living this dream. Let me take on the most impossible task there is in comedy.
Where no one's going to be happy.
Where
with
no
me.
one's going to be happy because people are going to be saying, why aren't you booking me? People are going to be canceling on me last minute. I got to be juggling all this stuff around. Let me take the fun of that on.
Yeah.
What made you decide to be a booker?
I never decided to be one.
Okay.
Okay. What I have and still have to this day is a lot of Italian family members that own restaurants and clubs and bars, things
Okay,
like
now
that.
you're just perpetuating stereotypes.
Absolutely,
right.
100%. I couldn't
Hey,
do any better.
Shut
Couldn't
up.
do
You
that
got to
any
front
better
the
right
money
there.
somehow.
Hey, this fucking guy over here.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hey, bring
So-
us somebody fucking funny, all
gotta
right,
have-
Dario?
Listen, you got to have
Exactly.
some legitimate
Forget about
business
it.
interests.
That was what it was. And so once a cousin of a cousin found out that I was in comedy, I get a call from Louie, Vinny, Jimmy, Joey.
Yeah, this is Louie, your 15th cousin twice removed.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
I got a restaurant. I need some comedy.
I need some comedy. So the next thing you know, and I
And
Vinny,
you better
I
be
love-
fucking funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I love Vinny. He's a cousin of mine. I loved him. I played football. I mean, I grew up with the kid, but he owned a lot of bars, and he once he knew I was doing comedy. So all of a sudden, you start being this perpetual host.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And the problem, like my room at the barn that I do, that I'm retired from as of last night, it's another story. But that room books, it's once a month, fills 100 people on a Wednesday night, the most beautiful audience you will ever see. 100 people on a Wednesday night, they bang. But the problem there is I've been doing that room since 2017, involved with that room.
Right.
And all those people have seen me
Right.
1,000 times.
Yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
So I get another comedian who might have other rooms, comes in and sees me and kind of looks at me and goes, well, you don't even tell, what do you do? You told 2 jokes. And I try to say to him,
Because they've seen the other stuff, right?
yeah, you can't judge me on this. I can't, in writing, writing requires constant vigil.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which I couldn't do because I'm running a business,
business,
with
right.
millions and millions of dollars in commercial and residential property and people's
Right.
lives on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so
So it got to be too much. Now,
Well,
so are you, when you say you retire, are you retiring from booking too?
everything. I'm done.
Everything.
The
Now-
next time you're
totally-
at a show, I'll be in the audience.
Totally focusing on your family and your day job, which again, that's
Nothing wrong
there's
with that.
nothing wrong with that.
I got
Especially
6 years.
I've
I got
been
6 years
there.
left on my job.
Do you? So I've, we've talked about it before. I still love getting up in front of people. I absolutely love it. But during the summer when I'm at a cookout, does it suck when I'm like, shit, I got a show. I got to leave early. I got to go and do this show. And especially it's one thing if you go there and it's a big crowd and it's a great crowd. But when you leave a cookout for a 25-person crowd and they suck because it's summertime and everyone else is on vacation or they're down at the beach and you're in some restaurant in Burrillville, Rhode Island, it definitely makes you question it. But lucky for me, I've got many more shows that are redeeming and help me deal with the fact that I'm leaving, I'm leaving the cookout. But it sucks, like you said. Would I rather be there? Well, I don't have my wife, but would I have rather been
No, and
on a Friday night with my wife at Capitol Grill or something?
I try to be more. I'm to the point now, Dario, where like my kids are adults and they've moved on, they have their lives and
Right.
everything.
That
so
changes, too.
I'm trying to be more selective in the shows that I pick, so I'm not always leaving her home sitting by herself.
Yeah.
Because that's only going to last so long before she's had enough of that shit,
Right.
where I'm leaving every Friday and Saturday and she's sitting home by herself. She understands busy season, slow season, stuff like that, but still it's it's going to wear out after a while. So I try to be selective. Summertime, I'm not going to take on much, so we can do stuff together and everything like that.
Right.
Because you have to. Because you got to balance that life out, especially now. When she had the kids to hang out with and everything like that, she was fine with it.
Yeah.
She was okay with it. But now,
Right. Well, and even though I'm divorced, I really wanted to be around for my kids.
Yes. Yeah.
On the weekends. So for a long time, I wasn't booking comedy on the weekends.
And now that they're older and don't want to hang out with you,
I don't even know where my 18 and 20-year-old are on the weekends that they're supposed to be with me. I mean, don't get me wrong; they check in with me.
No, I know.
Like that.
I'm joking.
But even Maddie, my youngest, she's 15. Half the time she's like, "Oh, I got a sleepover. Oh,
Well,
can I have someone sleep
because
over?
they're
Can
starting
I
to develop their own lives.
Well, exactly. So
which is what happens.
I don't now, instead of not booking myself at all on a weekend that I have the kids or Maddie, my youngest, I'll just book it locally. Like I won't drive to New Hampshire or Western Mass for a show on those nights because it's too far.
But you'll do Warwick.
But
you'll do Cranston.
Yeah, I mean, I've even done your shows in
Yeah,
Connecticut.
yeah.
Because it's just over the line.
But I think though, and that's I think that the other perspective that a lot of guys run into again is the money factor. If you're doing it as your profession,
Oh yeah,
you
have to
you're
take
gonna
the
have to leave
gigs.
that cookout for that shitty 20 because that's
But-
your profession.
Right.
Flip side of that, though, Dario, not to interrupt you, I apologize,
Well,
is that if you're doing it for your profession, you're probably home during the week more.
Exactly. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Good
So
point.
that's the trade-off is on a Tuesday and Wednesday, you're probably home all day
Right.
and night, whereas then you're going on the weekend. So that's a flip side. When you have a day job, you're going all week and you're going on the weekends. That's so I mean it's a fine line that we walk, when it comes to stuff like that. So let me ask you this. You did it for quite a long time, same amount of time that I've been doing it. Obviously, you've worked with some amazing people. We talked about Marty. He's one of my favorite comics
Yeah, I love
to
Marty.
watch. I remember one of the first times I ever watched him was our friend Jay Sute, who's no longer with us. Used to book a show at Shays in Manchester, Connecticut, and Marty came down one night. I was closing the show, and Marty showed up and said, "Hey, I want to do a spot. I'm working on some new stuff." And he goes up and just crushes for 10 minutes with supposed new stuff. And I called bullshit on it when he came off stage. I go, "That's not new stuff." He goes, "Yeah, it is." I go, "Bullshit."
Yeah, right.
You just crushed for 10 minutes. Nobody crushes with new stuff at an open mic. And he goes, "No, I'm telling you, that was new stuff." And he was all surprised that I was calling him out. And I'm like, "Bullshit. That is not new stuff. That was way too funny to be new stuff."
Right.
And because I got to go up and do 20 minutes now after you just
After
did
you
that.
just crushed with
and
10,
everything.
yeah.
And him and I became friendly after that. And
You
then
can fuck with Marty in a lot of ways, but you don't. When it comes to that particular thing,
But then I had him at
Wrong man.
I had him at the Bradley Playhouse, and the guy just annihilated the place. He just was so funny. But other than Marty, because we could talk about him for half an hour, in the time that you've been doing comedy, what were some of your big moments, wow moments, where you were at places that you were like, "I can't believe I'm performing here," or some big acts that you were like, "I can't believe I get to work with this person"? What were some of your wow moments?
Believe it or not, Nick's Comedy Stop was my,
So legendary. That's such
It's
a
so
legendary
legendary.
place.
and I always dreamed of doing a weekend there. That was
Yeah.
my dream. I mean, as a comedian, growing up, if I, and I got to do that, and
That's cool.
and I happened to do very well.
Yeah.
And we went, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, and we went to the W Hotel to party afterward.
Yep.
And there was a lot of people that at Nick's was
From the
there,
show.
and I
Yeah.
got, I got a lot of love, and we just, it was probably one of the greatest nights.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because when you just have that sweet set,
Yep.
and I had that, and
You had a great set, and then you got to live in that moment afterwards.
and
Right.
you just got the accolades from people that were at the show going, "Hey man, you did pretty good. You were good."
And that can be a tough room. That can be
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
tough room.
It can be. I got
Because
some love.
yeah, Nick's is the type of place that if you're funny, they love you. And if you're not funny, they'll tell you pretty quick. They're not afraid
Right.
to tell you. So, if you did well, you did really well there.
Right.
So good for you.
Yeah.
Good-
That was a weekend I'll never forget. I also did a show back at the Comedy Connection. It was the first time I ever did the Comedy Connection, and I kind of lucked out because the kid before me, don't remember who he was or whatever, there was some African Americans in the audience, and whatever planet he thought he was on, he got a little racist up there.
Really?
Yeah, the audience did not like him, and he
Yeah.
shut down quick.
Yep.
And some people say it's. I've always had my thoughts on this. Some people say it's not good to follow when somebody dies before you. And then again, I kind of have a different thought on that too. When somebody dies before you, you got a chance to do it. And
if you can go up there and follow that person and be likable, you win them over immediately.
Right.
I walked up there, and the gentleman that he was giving a hard time to, they were just not happy. Yeah. And I remember walking up there in that audience, and I turned around and I looked at those particular guys, and I went, "Hey, black guys," I said, "I got a couple of shovels in the car. What do you say we go take care of this guy over here?"
Yeah.
Room just blew up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like the tension in the air.
Because you said what they were thinking.
Right. You acknowledge the elephant in the room.
Acknowledge the elephant
That's
in the
a
room.
perfect thing to do.
Listen.
And after that, I just crushed it.
Because you won them over. You brought them on your side. You were on their side. They were on your side. That was the perfect thing to do in that moment.
And we have talked about that a bunch of times, where if you address the elephant in the room, and you're the first to address the elephant in the room, you win them over. We've told the story about the time I did a guest set on a show down in Philly, and it was at the Ice House, which is a predominantly African American room. Like, I walked in, I had no idea. I walked in, I look at all the headshots on the wall, and it looked like a lopsided checkerboard, because it was literally like for every 10 black folk headshots, there was one white comic. And then and I was there on a work trip, so I bring like 25 of the whitest, palest fucking people with me to the show to see me, and the entire rest of the audience was African American. And the whole night, people are going up in there, and they're laughing at the other comics, but I was literally like the only white comic too. So I get up there, and throughout the show, it was so uncomfortably segregated, because everyone was on one side of the room, and then my 25 people were on the other side of the room. And I just addressed the elephant in the room. I got up on stage. I go, I pointed at the left side of the room, all the African American audience members, and I go, this side of the room now understands where the fuck this side of the room came from. And they busted out like my work friends busted out laughing. They busted out laughing because it just broke the tension in the room. Sure. If there's someone that creates tension in a room and you can break it, you win them over immediately.
And I don't know why I love to, when there's like one African American in the room. I did this recently. Tyler Hittner and I were doing a show together, and I did a joke, and people were all looking towards the black guy, and I looked at him and I go, "These white people don't know what we go through, do they, my brother?" I go, "They don't get us and our people and the struggle we've gone through, do they?" And he starts laughing, so they all start laughing, and it just bursts the bubble.
Exactly,
it just pops that bubble.
You know how many times I do the joke where I go, "Hey, listen, we're a multicultural society," and then I go like this, and I go,
"Yeah,
not so much in this room tonight, but yeah." And then if there is one, like, African American person, I'm like, well, all right, one. You guys let one in. Big fucking deal. What a progressive town we live in.
Tom Dustin did that one night when I worked with him, where he told a joke where he dropped the N-word.
Oh, I would never say that.
But he didn't do it in a bad way. He said how basically the idea of the joke was he pulled up to a light with his black friend. Another car pulled up on side and yelled "You N-word" into the window, and he looked at his black friend and goes, "Can you believe what that guy just called me?"
All right,
and people in the room were kind of like uncomfortable laughing, and he just looks to the side like this, and there was one black guy in the room, and he goes, "Is he laughing right now? Is he laughing?" And then the whole room just blows up, and I'm like, that was so perfectly played, because the way that he did it.
That's different. Yeah,
and I love when guys figure out a way to do that, to create that uncomfortable moment, or take the uncomfortable moment, build up a little bit more tension with it, and then pop
it. Yeah,
and it's perfect when you do that. Yeah, and I love moments like that. But
I wanted to say that the greatest feeling I ever got on stage,
Yes.
I met my wife that night, and she was in the audience, and I was
Really?
big.
That night you did that with those guys?
No. This is another night. That
Oh.
was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me on stage was the night I met my wife.
She's sitting right across from you.
She is
staring at
not
you,
in this
isn't she?
room right now.
All right. Well,
This just became a hostage video.
yeah, right. Dario, blink.
They show.
Dario,
Blink twice if
blink
you're
twice
safe.
if you're safe.
I mean that. That was the greatest.
No.
I mission accomplished in being a comedian. I met the woman of my dreams.
That's
What more
awesome.
can I say,
Awesome.
right?
That's awesome,
And
man. Good for you.
how long have you guys been together?
We met in 2015.
Oh, all right. So 8 years.
8 years.
did the math.
8 years. We got married right before COVID. Right.
Oh, wow.
Before, like 2019. And
And
then,
you've been-
the COVID joke is, being married in COVID during COVID period and marriage years is like a dog year. It's like 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, we were married 2 of the COVID years. And so we're up like 14.
Yeah, right.
And you are the king of on social media posting these fantastic dinners you're on and these
Oh, yeah.
luxury he's
Vacations.
rooftop pools.
Yes.
And
Listen.
look, we're in Beverly Hills again, and I'm at a trailer park doing a show for
Doing a
7
show.
people.
Yeah, right.
I got engaged at a rooftop hotel in Beverly Hills and under a cabana, and next to me was the Oklahoma Thunder,
Wow.
which was really cool.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You know what? If I had those experiences, I'd be like, fuck comedy.
And
what
we're
am I doing this shit
and we're
for?
in a basement in
we're in my
Coventry,
basement
Rhode
in my-
Island,
Exactly.
and he was on a rooftop in Beverly Hills. Podcast over.
Yeah.
and this is true. I was at the gym working out with Robert De Niro in that
No.
hotel.
Really?
You're good lifting those weights.
Hey, I
I
saw
kept
you
kind of
come
winking
in.
at him, but I didn't want to. That's
I saw you come in. I was like, that guy needs a spot. You don't even need a spot, my friend. You don't even need it.
You're good.
You're good.
You are good.
It was good stuff. Good stuff. But
So, so that's awesome, though. But you know what? I mean, like you said, you get to a point where you're sitting there and you're like, do I love doing comedy? Yeah, but do I love it as much? Like, how many of those dinners did you have to not go to because you're like, I'd love to go out with our friends tonight, but I got this show, and I get it.
And there are not. What's that?
when it starts to, and again, the time involved in it, just everything. When it comes to the point where you'd rather sit and watch a Hallmark Christmas movie, I like
Right.
Who doesn't like those? Seriously, let's be honest.
All
right.
Let's put our cards on the table, Dario. Who doesn't like those?
Hey.
Come on.
I think
Who
we just
doesn't
came up
like
with
them?
the episode title. Dario Mercadante. He ain't that much of a fag.
He's only a little
He
fake.
likes Hallmark movies.
He's only slight fake.
Yeah, half a
This is
fag.
Miracles on tomorrow night. Forget about it. I'm excited.
No, but I get
No,
it.
no.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I mean, even for me, I'll have that show where I'm sitting there going, I could have taken my wife out to dinner tonight instead of sitting here doing this.
I could have been out smoking a cigar.
I could have
having
been
a,
at
you
the
know,
cigar
yeah.
lounge. Why am I here doing this right now? And it doesn't happen that often, luckily.
Yeah.
I've said to myself, if I get to the point where half of the time I'm saying that might be the time to say,
Right.
maybe it's time to think about retiring from this.
Yeah.
If that's happening more often than not, then it might be the time. If 99 times out of 100 I'm like, I still love every second of doing this, then I'm good.
But it depends on what your home situation is. Like you said, I'd rather spend time with my wife. You've been married less, you've been together less than 10 years. You're still in the honeymoon phase. You want to see each other. You know what I mean? Eddie Clark. I felt bad. We had Eddie Clark on from New York, and we're talking about why he retired from comedy. And in the middle of the show, he's got these two little 2-year-olds running around. I said, "Oh, those your grandkids?" He goes, "No, those are my kids." I'm like,
Eddie's in his early 60s,
He's in
and he's
his
got
60s.
them corralled with fences
And
in
I'm
his
like-
living room while he's on the podcast.
but again, for him, I get it. If I'm in my 60s and I got 2-year-olds, I don't want to be on the road all the time. You know what
And
I mean?
he was a full-time comic that was literally on the road, cruise ships, all that type
I
of
don't want
stuff.
to do that if I've got kids that are that young. You know, I mean, I hate to say it, but you're not going to be in their life for 50 years when you're having them at 60. You want to relish every moment that you have with them. So I get it. Everyone has their own reason.
And I knew I got offered a spot by a friend of ours at the Brouhaha Club on a Thursday night.
Yep.
Spoken like a true Italian by a friend of ours.
Hey, this guy.
If I say he's a friend of mine
No.
or a friend of ours,
Hey, he's a mutual connection.
Very
We all
astute.
know. Yeah.
yeah, he went all Donnie Brasco on us.
You're good. No, you're good.
You are good.
But you. So you got offered
Yeah,
the spot.
you got offered a spot.
And I knew, and I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to go. I just didn't. And most guys would give the right arm.
Yeah.
I
Right.
just didn't want to go. Thursday night's good comedy night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great room.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an
Room.
awesome room. Right.
Yeah, and that I knew right there. I says, if I'm feeling this way, this isn't what a comedian of any level should be doing. Even
Right.
if low, whatever. You got to want it, and you got to take every advantage of it. And
Yeah.
I just wasn't there, and I knew that at that point. I says, I think things are heading in a different direction for me as far as. And
Yeah,
I
when
had done a lot of things I wanted to do, so
Right.
even on Saturday, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything.
Right.
No, good.
Right.
The friends, the camaraderie is beyond.
Yeah.
The ball
Yes.
and the camaraderie. And there's nothing. I don't care. Give me 8 comedians in a room. I'll take 8 comedians in a room fucking around over 8 of anybody in any fucking room anywhere.
You're right.
Absolutely.
You're right.
But you
It's-
know what? You've made enough friends, you've made enough contacts that you know at any time you could show up at a comedy show and hang out with the guys anytime you want.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, you've made enough, you could anytime I'm at a show, if you showed up, hey, Dario, come hang out with us.
Exactly, yeah.
Marty, you've made such good friends with Marty. You know you
One of my
could go
best
hang out
friends.
at one. Yeah, exactly.
and
You
that's
could
the
go
thing.
hang out at a show anytime you want.
He's always told me.
Yeah, and you have an open invitation with many comedians. I guarantee you, even if they haven't said it to you, you know you could show up and it would not be an issue.
Exactly. And if you, after 2 years, started getting itchy, like, I don't know if I want to delve back into comedy fully, but God, if I happen to be out one night or I got a night off,
Yeah,
I'd love to
come
go
on
down to
out.
this room and
Come on out.
maybe do 5 minutes of my stuff.
That's
There's
never out of the. That's never out of the.
Of course.
No, it's not.
Out of
No.
out of the. I'd be liar to say that, but
right.
I don't, I goof around with the social media stuff too, the shirts I wear, and
Yeah.
my video, I go to In-N-Out Burger, as you guys can see here.
Yeah.
But it's there it is.
There it is.
But
Everyone says how great it is. Is it really that good?
it is really that good. I do a video. I'll be there. I'll be in LA in September. I'm going to LA. I'm going to down to Laguna. And
Is this for vacation or for work?
fun.
Fun. Nice.
Yeah. And I do when I go to LA, I go to the In-N-Out and I do the video.
Yep.
I have a great time with it. It's about 15-20 minute video because East Coast doesn't really know In-N-Out.
No, they've heard of it, but we haven't
it's
had it.
phenomenal, and it's everything. It's
Yeah.
really, really great. And
Yeah.
They used to say that about Sonic, and then Sonic came around here, and I'm like,
It sucks.
It's all right. I mean, it's all right.
Because
but-
I was in Vegas last month and I saw the In-N-Out Burger and I'm like, God, I heard about it, but we didn't end up going. We did a bunch of other stuff, but that's neither here nor there. All right, we've talked about wow moments. We've spread the love. We talked about all the people we love. We talked about how much we love you. Let's talk about the real fun. As we call it on this show, this is our favorite moment. That's why we save it for last. It's called the funny bad gig moment. Now, it's not funny when it's happening to you.
No.
But when you look back on it a few weeks later, a month later, you realize that it kind of was funny. So it's that moment you share in the green room when one guy's talking about his bad gig he had and how terrible it was. You're like, oh yeah, you think that was bad? And you share this story. This is your one-up story. Tell us about a funny bad gig you've had. Maybe if you got 2, whatever you want to share with us. Your non-wow moment.
It was so bad that it was funny when you tell other people about it.
And if you've been doing it since 2002, I know you have one.
Yeah.
Well, there's two aggregate places.
Okay.
Or two places that I can put into that category. One would be, and by the way, gentlemen, I just wanted to talk a little about the show this Sunday.
We're gonna
Yes,
talk
yep,
about
yep.
that right
I'm
after
sure.
this. Yeah. No, I definitely want to get to that too.
There were two places that I used to go to. So the aggregate gig would be the 3Gs in Worcester. If you had ever been there, in fact, Marty, the first time he ever got up on stage, I brought him to the 3Gs in Worcester. And
Don't know that one.
Yeah, and I think I'm pretty sure Orlando actually had the open mic there for
really?
way back.
Yep, Orlando Baxter.
Maybe I did do that.
I don't.
Yeah.
Did Orlando used to do a Christmas show there where he'd collect toys?
He might have.
I think I did do that then. Yeah.
That room was. I mean, there was just basically bums and shopping carts and a woman selling beads.
Yep. I did do that.
Totally,
Yeah, I did
totally
do
fucked
that.
up.
So the repressed memory just came back.
Yep, I did do that one.
Yeah. Dan Duquette ran it a lot.
Yes.
A kid used to run that a lot there, and it was I think there was some sort of shooting going on, and everybody was running out. It really had its charm. It was disgusting, but it was just a disaster.
You know what that was? That was almost like a Dom Irera. They were shooting. There was all kinds of shit, but I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, that's
No,
exactly what that
not
was. It had its charm.
They throw, the ladies, the lady would come in with the empty cans and throw them at you.
Well, at least they were empty.
They were empty. Yeah, well, then she'd come back and get them because it was a nickel.
Yeah,
So,
right, exactly.
yeah, give me that fucking back. I threw it at you, now I want it back. So, so there was that every show that I ever did there would be that bad gig that you would talk about.
Yeah.
And then there was another room in Connecticut where I met Dr. J. Sute.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget the name of the place. Let's just say it was called Shitties. Okay? It was just Shitties. And the woman that ran it was the biggest fucking cunt you'd ever want to meet. He used to sell cupcakes to the comedians. It would be like $8 a cupcake. And comedians, as you know,
Don't have money. Most of them don't have.
$8.
Yeah, right.
And you would do the show for free, and it was in fact, I met Pat Oates there for the first
Oh,
time.
really? Yep.
And he used to do a routine, something about an anal something punch, or I don't know. Pretty wild. It was actually pretty funny. I don't think he'll ever do that again, but it was funny.
Yeah.
So I met Pat there, and I met Dr. J there, and I met Linda Belt there.
Yep.
And they were all going there at that time. The fucking lady was just nasty. So every show there, and she wouldn't allow you to make fun of the room, which just asked to be made fun of.
Right.
It was just a film.
Yeah.
Shit. Like old Indians and canoes, and it was a coffee house. Jitters was its name. Jitters. That's what its name was. But I call it Shitters because that's really what it should have been.
It was in the Hartford area.
Southington.
Actually, Southington. No,
Yeah,
that's not the one. I was
she'd have old children's play school toys and shit. She would sell coffee, but her prices were ridiculous. Yeah. So there was that, and the worst gig I ever had. Very quickly, I ran a room at School Street. They called it at the School Street Bistro. My cousin Nikki owned it, and it was a very nice restaurant, School Street Bistro in Westfield, Mass. And he gave me the entire upstairs to throw shows. The first guy I had there was a skinny kid, very funny. I don't think he's doing John something or other. I don't think he's doing comedy anymore. The name
Not after that show.
No, he was great. He was really good. But I did.
Where was he from?
For whatever reason, in my head, I did a show where I was the Veg-O-Matic man.
Yeah.
Except I had a metal Pole-O-Matic. That's what it was. And like a total douchebag, I said, "All right," to the audience, "I'm going to come right back." And I ran off the stage.
You stole from Gallagher?
No, but Pole-O-Matic was not. I didn't smash anything.
Oh, okay.
I went into the bathroom and I put the mic in the toilet and I flushed the toilet so everybody could hear the toilet flush. And then I ran back on the stage in this spandex in this pole, and I started doing that old routine like millions were sold in Europe, but 25 were sold in Kentucky. And Pole-O-Matic, and you can lift it up and you can exercise with it. It was just a pole. It was the stupidest, horrible thing I ever did, but I was legendary with most comedians for being such a douchebag.
For doing it.
Because you had the balls to do it.
I mean, yeah. But thinking back on it now, it's funny as all hell. And you could,
right.
I'm trying to think of who would remember Pole. There's a few of the guys old timers that would remember Pole-O-Matic.
Pole-O-Matic. We're gonna have to ask it.
It's just a pole. It's just, and I sit there and
Inventor of the Pole-O-Matic.
That's the name of the episode.
What does it do for you? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Dario
$9.99.
Mercadante, inventor of the legendary Pole-O-Matic. That's the name of this episode.
Yeah. Which got nowhere and no laughs. No laughs. Insanity. I have a hairy chest. I was wearing a tank top too, which was even more.
Oh, Jesus.
Just picture a tank top with black spandex on.
Don't make me do it.
No, I refuse
you'll
to.
throw up in your drink.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
That was back when. That's.
Isn't it amazing before you kind of learn your voice and how to write jokes, what you're willing to try? You will try anything if you think it will get a laugh.
Yeah. Because that's what we do. We're just we literally. That's what comedy's all about. It's about having that bravery to try anything.
But you know what?
Because you don't know what's going to work and what's not, so you have to try it.
But you talk about the camaraderie and hanging out with comics. You talk about the camaraderie and hanging out with comics. We had some guys on that he started with, and we had guys on that I started with. And when we talk back to some of the open mics that we would hang out at, and we talk about us just trying shit and going crazy and doing stuff, that was so much fun. That was some of the best times I had in comedy when I'd show up every Wednesday night at the same place, and
we're the same
group of people and all of our friends, and we would try the craziest shit just to see if we could get a laugh from those guys,
from our friends,
figuring if we could make them laugh, that a crowd's gonna laugh at this stuff,
right?
And I remember screwing with people, and they'd go, "I got this new joke I'm going to try. Okay, do it." And we'd all be like, "All right, just tell him it's funny," so he does it in front of a crowd, and just watch him bomb in front of a regular crowd because we told him it was funny, and just mess with each other.
Or even if it was funny, no one laughed.
Yeah,
no one laughed.
Don't
no
laugh.
Matter what.
Don't laugh
with
at this joke.
Yeah.
You just mess with each other because we loved each other and we just had a blast. And I still love those guys to this day. When I see these guys, and
I love you, man.
You talk about it all the time. Then you move up and you're closing out shows, and you don't get to see these people anymore.
Yeah, you don't get to work with headliners.
And instead you're seeing these young guys that are the openers and the middle acts, and they're all those guys now that are all hanging out together, and you're kind of on the outside, looking in, and it's kind of sad, in a way that you're not in that group anymore. So that's one of the reasons that's cool about this podcast is we get to pull people in like yourself, where we get to reminisce and talk about this shit.
Right.
That we had so much fun doing.
Yeah.
So
tell us.
And that's the part that I'll miss a lot.
The most, yeah.
Well, my friend, you're welcome anytime. Once in a while, we have groups of people on here where we talk about comedy stuff, and you are welcome anytime to come shoot the shit about comedy.
Panel shows, and it won't be on a Friday or a Saturday. Where you could be at Grill 23.
Yeah, you could be at Grill 37.
Hey,
37.
You could be at Grill 37 having a steak, my friend.
That's right.
Hey,
listen. Grill 23. You tell Matthew I sent you. He'll take good care.
Listen, we'll come to Grill 23 and do a fucking.
We'll do a podcast there while we have a steak.
We've done it plenty
of
times.
I have my company Christmas party there, so.
Nice.
We have remote equipment, so we can show up. Not a problem.
We'll be there.
So, but we
I was
got
married there.
Oh, nice.
I was married there. Yeah, I was married in the front window, right on the street in Boston. It was beautiful.
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
God, that's so
I
funny.
brought an Italian guy in, sang all Frank Sinatra. Did a
Oh, of
little
course you did.
Andy
Was it
Forget
really?
about it. He was great.
You forget about it.
Where's he from? Where's he from?
His name was Joe Cariglia. He's out of
Oh,
Worcester.
all right.
Oh, of course he was.
Because we got a guy here in Rhode Island, Michael Dutre. He's amazing. He's the best.
He's
He
the
does-
best.
he-
I'm telling you, he's the best.
He's the best. He did Conte Partito, if I'm saying that right. And he for Andrew Bocelli.
Oh, yeah.
He did it. The staff was crying.
Really?
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Anyway,
So
That's cool.
I digress.
I digress.
Hey, what's that word? I digest.
Yeah,
what is it?
so
What's that
digest.
fucking word? I
Nah,
digest.
I don't digest. I got agita.
Hey,
That's
you
the problem.
know, this fucking guy over here with his, you
You're
know.
bringing out the inner Guinea in me, man.
That's right. You know what's funny?
I'm
You
trying to
said
sound sophisticated.
you said you were from Agawam, but it's every once in a while you sound like you're from Chicago. Like
Yeah, you get a little Chicago
you
out
got
of
a
here.
little Sebastian Maniscalco going on there.
Al Capone.
Yeah.
Capone was my grandmother's godfather.
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. I'm sorry. I
Don't
apologize
even go
if I've
there. We ain't
offended
gonna
you
go
at
there.
any point during this podcast.
If part of the screen goes black, I'm gonna know why.
You'll end up in the vault where they don't find shit.
Yeah.
They don't find shit in that
Geraldo
vault.
Rivera is still in there.
He's still looking.
around. Fucking 25 years ago.
And there ain't shit in there.
Nothing.
So we got to talk about Sunday night.
Yeah. So
Yes,
tell us about
yes.
Sunday night. This is your big swan song retirement show.
Swan Song retirement show. Here's what it is. And I'll try not to get emotional on this because I already did that last night and that was
Yeah.
fell apart. But what it is my father is someone who gave food ever since I can remember to the parish cupboard food bank in West Springfield.
Yep.
And this food bank is beautiful. They have a like a store where the people can go in, just pick out what they need,
Yep.
meat, milk, eggs, whatever. Put it in basket, and they can go. That's it.
Right.
You go
It's
in,
donated.
and that's it.
Yeah.
They donate it, and they also feed people every day. They do a lunch, and they feed people that come off the street, and they
Yep.
get a sandwich and
You can get a
nice
good
soup.
meal. Yep.
Good meal, exactly. So my father always gave to them, and when my father passed, I felt that was something that I wanted to continue to do. So over the years, there's somebody that I've always visited. I don't like to talk too much about that because I believe that giving is between you and God. You read Matthew 6 in the Bible, it says that when you give, you see these guys that give and they get on TV and I did this and I did that.
Oh
and
yeah.
you get
Yeah.
everybody
It's all for the look of it.
It's
Right.
all
Right.
for the look of it. So I never really talked much about what I do with them, and nor am I. But in conversation with the man who runs the place, I got to thinking about I was going to leave comedy. I said to him, I says, how about if I do a comedy show and I give you the proceeds? So he was overwhelmed. He said, that would be fantastic. He says, you want to do that? That we would love that. So I got to thinking about it, and I talked with Marty about it. And I says, Marty, you think, they'll let me use the Loft Comedy Club in Chicopee?
Yeah.
and
That
View Street?
he just reopened, right?
Right. And Marty, as beautiful a man as he is, said, whatever you need.
Yeah.
You tell me what you want, what you need, and I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And he did. So so basically, I kind of looked at a lot of the comedians that I worked with over the years,
Yep.
and I started thinking about who I would want to be on the show. Actually, almost got Paul Verzi.
Oh
Wow.
He was. He said I'd have done it. He was busy. That he was going to come
Yeah.
down. So he was one of the. If you ask about people that memorable to work with, Paul and Dan Soder were two
Yeah.
people that.
I
memorable.
love Dan Soder. Love Dan Soder.
I got to open for Dan and open for
Wow.
Paul. So it was really neat.
Well,
Get
good,
kind
very
of-
funny comics. Very funny comics.
You're crazy. Anyway, but I went through all the people and whatnot, and I arrived at 6 comedians that that I've worked with and whatnot. And
And just to
they
set the
are-
record straight, we weren't available that night either.
Yeah,
'Cause,
I was-
you know,
I was tied up. I was busy.
I
He
apologize.
can't.
You know something? Again,
Dario,
I
I'm
was doing
sorry.
it.
Dude, I'm busted
I'm
balls.
Dario, I'm sorry you kept asking, but I can't
I
do it.
tried to move
what do
stuff.
we got? Do the tears gonna be coming out of my
I
eyes?
tried to
Listen,
move stuff
you're
around.
welcome to come by though and donate $40.
Yeah, you're welcome to come by if you buy a fucking ticket.
Yeah,
You
and a
buy a
cup.
fucking
No, that lady is selling cupcakes.
Yeah, she did $8.
If you want an $8
Seven for
fucking
me.
cupcake,
Yeah, that's a callback, my
One
friend.
for the poor people.
still not in your act, but you still.
I do, Dario. The joke that we have, the internal joke is, I do callbacks on here all the time. I don't have one fucking callback in my act.
He
I
can't write one for his
I can't
act.
write one for my act, but I do them off the cuff on the show.
Great
all the time.
callbacks on the show, but he can't write one for his act to save his ass.
No,
So
I'm busted
okay,
balls.
who are the comedians you
Yeah,
have on
so
the show?
who's on it?
Okay, so we have Marty Caproni, of course.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
We have Dan Gurin, who's absolutely
Oh, yeah.
fantastic. We just worked with him a couple of months ago, and the guy got a standing ovation in the
Wow,
crowd. So
that's awesome.
Humble, phenomenal. Caroline Plummer.
Oh, I love Caroline. One of my
yeah,
all-time
Caroline's-
favorite comics.
Carolyn Plummer.
All-time
is
favorite
hilarious.
comics.
Worked with her, just got a standing ovation.
Yep.
Brilliant
And
comedian.
was just on Comics Come Home this
Yep.
past last year.
Yep.
Yes,
And well deserved.
phenomenal.
Well deserved.
And a guy that I love dearly, Brian Bowden.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. We've had Brian on
Big
before.
Mango. Love
Big
him.
Mango.
Love him.
Just
Yeah.
don't have a black cat on the show.
Yeah. Just so you know, he's not a big fan of cats.
Don't have any cats on the show.
No cats on this show.
All right, you'll be safe.
The reason why I say it, we had him on the podcast a couple of years ago, and he lives in my town, so we had him in the studio.
Sure.
And I have a black cat. I had no idea he didn't like cats.
Ace's cat rubbed his leg.
Literally, you know how a cat rubs against your leg? I've never seen a man that big jump 5 feet straight in the air and scream, "Did you see that fucking cat tried to kill me?"
He could
I
have.
go, dude, he rubbed against you.
He could have out jumped Jason Tatum for a rebound.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was amazing.
Fucking Brian.
So
Yeah.
Brian Bowden.
Yep.
Brian Bowden, and we have Corey Rodriguez. Who
Holy
is,
shit!
awesome.
What a lineup!
That's
Whoa,
a
he
great
is
lineup.
That is a
insane.
stacked lineup.
Loved him. Insane. And final comedian is Kelly McFarland.
Oh my god!
Another former.
That's like another Comics Come Home.
yeah, right. You're having a comics come home at the
I would have
loft.
to say that those 6 comedians, I'll stack them up against anybody. Anywhere,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anywhere,
That's
anytime.
awesome.
That lineup is as good as I could have ever be blessed.
Oh my
to be.
God, that's
and
a
I get a kick
fantastic
out of
show.
it because some of the scoonges around here go, $40 a lot for a comedy. I go, you don't realize those 6 comedians on a regular show, you'd probably paying $100 a ticket.
Oh,
You would be
Those
lucky
guys.
to even get them on a show together.
right.
So,
Yeah,
so
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
an absolute. It is. I am utterly blessed
Yeah.
by those 6 individuals saying and doing that. Now, the interesting part about this particular show, and I want to make this very clear to anybody listening, the $40 ticket, 100% of that ticket, it goes toward the parish cupboard.
Yep.
So right to the people.
I've
There's
seen
no,
you post that. Yeah.
Wow.
There's no-
all
yeah,
of those
there's no
comics, all of those
I
comics
would
are
be-
donating their time.
Yeah, well, my comedians are not donating their time, and nor would I let them.
Oh, all right. You got a did you
No,
get a
those
sponsor?
comedians are not donating, and I wouldn't let. There is no way on hell I would allow any of them to donate their time. That is
Okay.
that's if you're a professional working comedian, one of your avenues of.
Oh yeah,
of-
no, I get it.
Yeah.
I just thought they were all donating their time, or I
No.
remember you saying something about
No.
100% of the proceeds were going to the cupboard. So did
Right.
you get a sponsor, a local sponsor?
I have a mixture of. I have some sponsors, and all that sponsor money is also going to the cupboard.
Really?
The payment of the comedians, the 6 comedians, are being paid out of my pocket.
Oh, wow.
And they're being paid, I believe, and I've been in the business a while, for 20 minutes time. I believe that they're all happy with the rate that I'm paying.
That's fantastic.
As professional comedians, I don't believe
So you're
that they
giving-
do not seem to have a problem with it.
So you're giving to the organization multiple ways. You're giving them all the proceeds from your show, but you're also paying for those comics, which normally would have come out of the budget, right?
I'm paying for those
That's
comics.
awesome.
I'm going to feed those comics.
Mm-hmm.
I took care of all of those beautiful posters, all the printing,
Yep.
all the tickets and everything. I have funded this entire show, and I that's why I try to tell people, you're not donating to the Ukraine where your money's going somewhere, and who knows?
You're
who the
not
hell-
sure.
Yeah,
You're
It's
not
going
sure.
to your
right.
community.
It's staying right in their
This is
backyard.
right in your
Right in
backyard.
their backyard. That's a great thing.
And I think what bothers me so far is I haven't had one politician in the area reach out to me
Really?
and say something and say, hey, want to get behind this or whatever. I think that's disgusting, but that's for another story. I
Yeah.
would think that I would
Wow.
have gotten a little bit more on that end.
Right.
I spoke with Channel 22 and they kind of, I want our local TV network, and they're, well, maybe we'll come down, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? You'll get some kid will get his, we'll get first place for putting macaroni on a plate, and you'll go and cover that.
Right.
Wow.
But you're not going to cover
Yeah,
this.
right.
You jump on this.
Yeah,
So
that's ridiculous.
It's disturbing, but right now I have a fairly good check going to them. But
Good.
I want to at least double what I'm giving them right now. And my goal in the next 3 days is to really, we've
Promote
got a
it
decent
more.
amount of tickets sold, but I want a hell of a lot more.
Sure.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this: Is there a way for people to donate if they can't go?
If they want to just donate.
Yeah. I know it sounds sketchy, but you basically can give to my Venmo or my wife's Venmo, and we just transfer that money right into the
food
right
bank.
into the bank account where the main check is going to be drawn when I present them with the check.
I see.
Okay.
What's your?
I will say the post office did donate, which was nice.
Oh,
Post
oh,
office
wow.
Carriers came in and gave me a nice check.
Now is there a way for people to donate even after the show to keep this going?
I didn't think of that, but the account will be established. I guess I'll keep the account. If I come out of retirement for anything, I had this discussion. It may be to come and do another show for them in
Okay.
a year or two.
Yeah, like a yearly
I'll
thing.
consider that.
Well, what is your Venmo in case anybody listening wants to make a donation?
Okay, let me. It's Dario Mario Rocco.
Mario Rocco.
Hey,
So let me just.
can you have more fucking O's in there or what?
Yeah, a lot of fucking O's.
My Venmo is
Yeah, a lot of O's. Wait a
O.
minute. Hold on.
He's fucking guy over here with his fucking
I got
Venmo.
Hey,
two
our
eyes and
buddy-
three heads and
Our
whatever
buddy
over
from
here.
Western Mass, Walt. I know I'm gonna butcher his name because I always
Walt
forget.
Spazetta.
Yeah,
He's a good
Sazeka.
man.
He said, but does Dario still drive a Mini Cooper?
Oh, that joke. He loves that joke.
Oh yeah.
That's a joke. It's
Oh, all right.
why am I having a problem? I'm just a little.
These poor guy's having a stroke.
having a
now.
problem here. That's my. I was ready to give you my Planet Fitness Venmo.
Oh yeah, we'll take
Yeah,
that
you can
too.
use that. You can use that. Let me see here. You know what? I know what to do. Hold on a second here.
Yeah, take your time.
Yeah, listen, you guys got nothing to do, right? I mean,
Listen, Scott is a master at editing things. So when this comes out on all the podcast platforms,
Everybody will
I'll
be
show
listening
you-
to this long,
you will-
dragged
long-
out.
okay, I got
Oh,
it.
you'll
now.
hear
I
me
got it.
shitting on Scott right now too, because he won't cut that out either.
It's at Dario Mario Rocco.
Okay.
You had to look that up. Those are your three fucking names.
Yeah.
You had to look it up.
No numbers,
Yeah.
no symbols.
They had one of them hyphens in there.
At Dario Mario Rocco.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's an underscore or an hyphen or a hyphen.
At Dario Mario.
At Dario
Rocco.
Mario Rocco. If anybody listening wants to make a
Not a
donation, that goes to a very good cause that
It's a
feeds
local cause. That's
hungry
helping.
people, and it helps a lot of people.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've been there for a long time, and they help a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a great cause. It's something that's definitely needed, and obviously, you could tell by the way Dario told that story that it's something he's very passionate about, and he's giving a ton to help them out. So, if you guys want to help out too, anything will help.
Yeah.
Anything.
Absolutely.
I don't care. $5, $2.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Skip your mocha, foca, fucka, frappuccino tomorrow and throw the $5 there to Dario, Mario, Rocco, and let him feed some hungry people.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, we can't thank you enough for being on. Especially,
It was such a pleasure.
Especially
Such a
right
pleasure.
before your retirement, and you're doing good things. And hey, listen,
You guys are too.
you never know. You never know. A year from now, you turn around and go, you know what? Maybe I'll come out of retirement once a year just to raise money. Maybe it becomes an annual thing, and you never, like you said, you never say never. But
And if you need
I
a couple
get it.
of hacks from a basement in Coventry,
Yeah,
we would be
sure.
there for you.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
We would be there for you.
You'll be the first two I call. How's that if I do that?
thanks.
I would be honored. I would be absolutely honored.
Yeah.
And I mean that.
No, and I honestly, I would be honored
We mean it
to
too, man.
help you out with that. That's such a great cause. So, this was a great episode, man. It was so much fun catching up with you, and hearing the story, man. Sorry to see you go from comedy, but at the same time, man, what a ride you had. What a ride you had, and good for you, man.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
Uh-oh.
but Brian Bowden put a.
Uh-oh.
Brian Bowden's watching, and he goes, "That cat attacked me."
Mango, baby. Mango. I love you, brother.
3 years later, the pussy is still talking about it.
Well,
Mango.
Mango,
I'm
thanks for
on the
watching.
I'm on the fence of that one because it was under the table. I didn't see it. Maybe the cat did attack him.
Maybe it
I
did.
don't know. I
I've
don't know.
Never seen this cat bite anyone.
I don't know.
He rubbed against his leg. That's what he did.
Mango, I don't know. That cat might have come at you.
No, listen, folks.
Big pussy. A big pussy, that cat.
If you're in the folks, if you are in the
Little
Western,
pussy, he was a big pussy.
if
The
you're in
cat,
the
not
Western
Mango.
Mass, if you're in the Western Mass area this weekend, you got to check out this show. It's in Chicopee at the Loft. Great comedy club. Amazing lineup of,
I was just going to
of
say,
comics.
never mind the
honestly.
fact that you're helping out, with a great charity.
People are going to see an amazing fucking
that
show.
lineup
Oh, my
is
God.
insane, off
Yeah.
the charts.
Yeah, it's
And you can
literally
get
it's
tickets
going to be
at the
great.
door, too. If,
Can they? Okay.
If people want to come and get them at the door, we prefer in advance.
Yeah, I
but
mean,
at
it
the door is
helps.
nice.
Yeah, I tell people all the time when they're like, "Oh, can I get tickets at the door?" It's like, yeah, just don't bitch about there only being 2 waitresses on if that happens, because
Or-
it helps the place
Thank you.
figure out how much help they need.
Or if they're lucky enough to sell a ton of tickets, if you show up and they're sold out.
exactly, that's
It
the other
that
thing,
has
right.
happened. That has
Well,
happened.
And for a charity like this, it probably will happen. I'm sure you guys are going to sell out.
We're
tomorrow.
praying for it. It's
Yeah.
It's tough out in this area.
Yeah.
People are hurting. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
are hurting. We respect and understand that. That's why you got to walk a fine line about how you ask and how
Right,
you do it,
right.
Because people listen. You got to feed your own family, and I respect
Right.
that. So
Yeah.
that's why I say if you gave $5, that's 5 more than I would have
Well,
had.
let me
No,
ask.
exactly.
All right, let me
Exactly.
ask you this. I get it. West Springfield, Chicopee, Agawam. Did you put any posters up in Longmeadow? Because those fuckers have some money.
We forumed that. We did all the forums.
All right.
With the
I
posters,
just want to
yeah.
make sure.
He's got a point. He's got a point.
Those Longmeadow people and those hippies up in Northampton, get them to come down too.
They're loaded.
Yeah,
They're loaded
they all
over
got
there.
money. Are you kidding?
Hippies up in Long.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I lived in Springfield for 1 year.
Yeah, yeah,
All of a
you got
sudden
it
I know
all
the whole
nailed.
area. Oh yeah. Get those Hicks from Athol down.
Yeah, exactly.
And those
Bring all your
those
teeth.
fags from Orange, get
Yeah,
them down
get
too.
them down too. No, listen, man. Thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
on.
Dario.
We really, really hope that you raise a lot of money for the organization. And remember, Dario, Mario, Rocco at Dario Mario Rocco on Venmo. If you want to send them, just send them some money. If you just want to donate, it'll get to the food pantry.
I couldn't have said it better if I was Italian.
Yeah, well, but you're not. So
But I'm not,
forget
so I
about
didn't
it.
say it.
Yeah.
I'm a fugazi.
I want to say to both of you from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you just did.
Absolutely, man.
I can't thank you both enough. You're both gentlemen, and you were very kind to me tonight, and I really appreciate that.
Absolutely,
Oh, no,
man.
our pleasure.
Anytime,
Our
seriously.
pleasure.
Anytime, man. All
God
right.
bless you both. Okay?
Have a great show tomorrow night. Thanks, Dario.
Thank you, guys.
All right, bye. And that was Dario Mercadante. I love that guy.
Oh my God!
Yeah, really.
Definitely go check out that show if you're
Yeah.
in that area,
And
because he
even
put together a crazy good lineup.
Yeah.
and you're helping out such a great cause, so you can feel good about yourself, and you're gonna laugh your ass off.
And
the
listen,
entire show.
we know we've got listeners from all over, but I almost called him Mario.
Mario.
Like Dario said, honestly, just even if you can't be there because you're from out of state, you're from out of town, even if you can throw $5, anything is going to help. You know, anything is going to help them.
If half of our listeners threw him $5,
Yeah, that really.
oh my God, would that make a major
And
difference?
that's the thing. It really will be going to a local charity, a local, organization that it's not going to some big bureaucratic organization. It's literally going to get into the hands of people who are feeding other people.
Every penny of what you give is going to help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every penny. So, consider making that donation. We would appreciate it as much as we appreciate you guys tuning in every week, listening. Share us with a friend. Let them know that we are out there. Help us grow this podcast. If you have a minute, give us that 5-star written review wherever you download the podcast. Great way to help us out. Really is.
And listen, another shout out to our friends at the Mixtape Podcast.
Love those guys.
We
love those
We're
guys.
working on a special thing with them. We gotta hook up with an actual meeting. But we're working on something fun with those guys.
Yeah.
And listen, if you haven't listened to them, the Mixtape Podcast, you gotta go and listen to them. If you are a child of the 80s and 90s,
You will love
you're
it.
gonna
You'll
love what they talk
absolutely
about.
love it.
They they've had some really, really cool episodes recently, and they're just coming up on their 100th episode. So to celebrate, Jason actually asked if we could do a call in where you could record something. And so Scott and I were talking about it. I think I'm going to record Gilbert Gottfried from hell recording something for them about listening.
You want to listen to the 100th episode just to see if you can pick out what Ace says.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah,
we're going to say.
exactly.
Because we were coming up with some pretty funny ideas.
Yeah. So listen, folks, thanks so much. Next week, we have Jason Pollock coming on.
I can't wait.
I
That's
can't
going to be
wait because
fun.
I love this guy. We met him through our friends Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne out in New York on the Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling podcast. He's also part of the Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling channel on Twitch that we play on all the time. And he's just a really, really funny guy and a sweetheart of a guy.
Yes,
So
yeah, definitely.
I'm really excited to talk to him because we really didn't know him before and we didn't know much about him. But man, he made us laugh every time we were on like a podcast with him, or even sometimes just a meeting where we would have like a meeting of everyone on the channel.
I would watch
and he
his
would just-
podcast.
Yeah, and I watched it. Was it Just Jason?
Yeah,
yeah.
And because he was on before us a lot of times, so I'd watch the last half of his leading into ours, and he's
was
just a
awesome.
funny guy, interesting guy.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to talk to him and get to know him a little bit better.
It's going to be a great episode. So listen, folks. Other than that, we will talk to you
Next week.